Good day. Welcome to our virtual class. Week one. Our topic today is about uh, introduction to human-computer interaction. In everyday life, or in every day, we interact with many things like cell phone, TV remote, AC remote, keyboard, mouse, and other devices like ATM, web or mobile application, which is part of our life. Sometimes we take time to understand the design, and sometimes we don't take time to understand. So it's about poor and good design. Interaction is the connection between the user and the device or application. Interaction design is concerned with designing interactive products to support people in their everyday and working lives. Interaction design is a big business in every company. So what is a human-computer interaction? HCI is the study and the practice of usability. HCI is the study of how people use computer system to perform certain tasks. Human-computer interaction is a multidisciplinary field of study focusing on the design of the computer technology and in particular the interaction between human, the user, and the computer. While initially concerned with the computers, HCI has since expanded to cover almost all forms of information technology design. Human-computer interaction is an area of research and practice that emerged in the early 1980s, initially as a specialty area in computer science, embracing cognitive science and human factor engineering. HCI has expanded rapidly and steadily for 3 decades, attracting professionals from many other disciplines and incorporating diverse concepts and approaches. To a considerable extent, HCI is now aggregates a collection of semi-autonomous field of research and practice in human-centered informatics. However, the continuing synthesis of disparate conception and approaches to science and practice in HCI has produced a dramatic example of how different epistemologies and paradigms can be concealed and integrated in a vibrant and productive intellectual project. Again, so what is human-computer interaction? HCI concerning process, which design, evaluation, and implementation, process on interactive computing system for human use, plus the study of major phenomena surrounding them. So the goal of HCI are to produce usable and safe system as well as functional system. In order to produce a computer system with good usability, developer must attempt to first understand the factors that determine how people use technology, develop tools and techniques to enable building suitable system, achieve efficient and effective and safe interaction, and put people first. So, underlying the whole theme of HCI is the belief that people using computer system should come first. So their needs, capabilities, and preference for conducting various tasks should direct developers in the way that they design system. People should not have to change the way that they use a system in order to fit within it. Instead, the system should be designed to match their requirements. Okay, so the goal of HCI, ensuring usability. A usable software system is that supports the effective and efficient completion of tasks in a given work context, by Carrot and Dayton in 1995. So the bottom line benefits a more usable software system to business user include first, increase productivity, decrease user training time and costs, decrease user errors, increase accuracy of data, input data interpretation, decrease need for ongoing technical support. So the bottom line benefits of usability to develop organizations include greater profits due to more competitive products and services, decrease overall development and maintenance costs, decrease the customer support costs, more follow business due to satisfied customer. So not to use the term user-friendly, which is tended to mean a system with high usability but always misinterpreted to mean tidying up the screen display to make it more pleasing. Okay, so when we say usability, okay, it's one of the key concepts in HCI. It is concerned with making the system easy to learn and use. So a usable system is, again, easy to learn, easy to remember how to use, effective to use, efficient to use, safe to use, and enjoyable to use. So another question is why usability is important. So many everyday system and products seems to be designed with a little regard to usability. This leads to frustration, wasted times, and error. This contains example of interactive products, mobile phone, computer personal organizer, remote control, soft drink machine, coffee machine, ATM, ticket machine, library information system, photocopier. Okay, so how many of these systems are actually effortless and enjoyable to use? Okay, so the goal of HCI to achieve usability, the design of the user interface to any interactive product needs to take into account and to be tailored around a number of factors, including first, cognitive, perceptual, and motor capabilities and constraints of people in general. Second, spatial and unique characteristic of the intended user population in particular, unique characteristic of user, physical and social work environment, unique characteristic and requirements of the user tasks which are being supported by the software, unique capabilities and constraint of the chosen software and or hardware platform for the product. So nowadays, human cognitive aspects have become more and more important for interaction design. Cognition refers to what goes on in human mind when they carry out everyday activities. So it involves sets of cognitive process such as thinking, remembering, learning, and decision making. Through the study of this human cognitive process, the developer of interaction system can be better at understanding user psychological characteristic during the process of interacting with computer system. It is crucial for the developer to design high-quality interaction system which make the interaction between the user and the system more effective and efficiently. This presentation will explain what cognition is and why it's important for interaction design. So this mainly take a cognitive process interaction example to explain how cognition applied to the interaction design. Human-computer interaction has generally been seen as a discipline that identifies principles and techniques for designing and evaluating user interface in human-computer system. There are many reasons for difficulty in developing a strong scientific basis for human-computer interaction. Users are people with associated in psychological characteristics and diversity. However, psychology as a discipline has yet to describe fully the function and the properties of human per se, let alone the function and properties of people interacting with a complex technology. This means that each application and software interface represent an experiment. So we may be able to spot an obvious problem with an interface using general principles such as stimulus response compatibility. So human-computer interaction. Okay, so the H, the human, goods at sensing, low-level stimuli pattern, recognition, inductive reasoning, multiple strategies, adapting, hazard, and faceting. So human, or the in computer interaction, okay, again, is the study of people interact with the computer and to what extent computer are not developed for successful interaction with human being. As its name, HCI consists of three parts. Again, sabi the user, the computer itself, and the way they work together. Then we have the computer. Okay, so the computer good accounting and measuring, accurate storage, and recall rapid and consistent response to data processing, calculation, repetitive action, performance over time, simple and sharply defined things. Hmm. When we talk about computer, we're referring to any technology ranging from desktop computer to large-scale computer system. For example, if we're discussing the design of a website, then the website itself would be referred as the computer. So devices such as mobile phones or BCR can also be considered to be a computer. Then the I, the least skill, somewhat complementary, let human do what human do best, and computer do what computer do best. Mm. So by the user, we may mean the individual user group or user working together and appreciation of the way people's sensory system, example, sight, hearing, and touch, relay information is a vital. Also, different user from different conception or mental models about their interaction and have different ways of learning and keeping knowledge. In addition, cultural and national differences play also a part. Okay, next we have the three broad categories of a computer system. Okay, so we have the first the expert user with detailed knowledge of the particular system. So the expert user with a detailed knowledge of the particular system. So expert user are defined as individual who reach interaction knowledge, task knowledge, and domain knowledge of specific system, and who are skillful in obtaining and using such knowledge to achieve goals or tasks in an interaction. Then we have the occasional users who know well how to perform the task they need to perform frequently. Occasional user, okay, so this user who learn only enough about the system to accomplish their immediate needs or specific needs. So occasional user, someone with a human service organization would only need to use a particular information system on occasional rather than a regular basis. Then we have the last one, we have the novice who never used the system before. Okay, so a novice is a broad sense denotes a person who is new or inexperienced in a certain task or situation. So in this sense, a label embraces the other labels like beginners or a new user of the system. A novice user is not familiar with the system operation. Okay. So teaching user interface development to software engineers, Gary Fairman on Ohio University. There are not many specialists in user interface development. So most software user interface are designed and built by the software engineers. Software engineers who have been trained in user interface development should have gained perspective, learn about method and tools, and gain an appreciation of their limits. So their perspective should include the importance of the user interface, the impact of good and bad user interface, and the diversity of user and application. So about methods and tools, they should know the trade-offs of design, decision involving different dialog types, and input-output device, the resources available for design, the benefit and cost of developing tools for user interface implementation, the need to integrate training materials with the user interface, the need to evaluate system usability, and information about some design and evaluation tools. Finally, software engineers building user interface must know the limits of their knowledge, when and how to work with human factors engineers as a consultant for design and evaluation, when and how to work with technical writers for implementation of a system of a user guidance, when and how to work a statistical consultant, and the difficulty of measurement and the complexity of making decision-based data. Uh, User interface is the front-end application view to which user interacts in order to use the software. User can manipulate and control the software as well as hardware by means of user interface. Today, user interface is found almost every place where digital technology exists, right from the computers, mobile phones, cars, music players, airplanes, ships, and more. So user interface is a part of a software and is designed such a way that is expected to provide the user insight of the software. A user interface or the UI provides fundamental platform for human-computer interaction. So user interface can be a graphical, it can be text-based, audio-based, depending upon the underlying hardware and software combination. So user interface can be hardware or software or combination of both. Okay, so the software becomes more popular in user interface. It becomes first more attractive, simple to use, responsive in short time, and clear to understand, consistent in all interfacing screen. A bad user interface design totally destroy the creativity behind the designers, but also delivers misunderstanding input to the user. All of those altogether bring user a sense of confusion, frustration, and even sometimes anger. Okay. Again, we have the visibility and affordance. So visibility is what is seen. Affordance is what operation and manipulation can be done to a particular project. So what is visible must have a good mapping to their effect, and perceive affordance, what a person thinks can be done to an object. Again, visibility is the basic principle that the more visible an element is, the more likely user will know about them and how to use them. Equally important in the opposite, when sometimes out of sight, it's difficult to know about the use. As simple as this principle, it designers struggle with adapting it. And when we say affordance, this is the appearance of a specific control such as function. For example, a floppy disk. Okay, when you see a floppy disk icon, so this suggests a save button. Okay, so visibility, the control is visible to the user who they know it's available. Okay, and while the affordance, the image used for the control suggests its function. Okay, so visibility should be obvious what a control used for. So for example, if I press this button, so what will happen? If I want to unlock the door, which control should I use? A system with good visibility allows the user to easily translate goals into action. While affordance, it should be obvious how to control is used. Okay, so the system should provide a strong clues to the operation of a thing. Example, a button affords pushing, a lever affords pulling, so the user should know how to operate or control just by looking at it. Okay. Then, when we say feedback, okay, it should be obvious when a control has been used. So once the user has pressed a button, okay, the system should react in a manner that clearly communicates what has just been accomplished. If nothing happened, so this fact should be also obvious. For example, when you save a file, okay, so there will be a message that your file is successfully saved, diba? Or delete. So importance of HCI. HCI will be increasingly important in the following areas. As a part of software development process and system design methods, as a part of a future legal requirements for software, as a basis for a set of usability criteria to evaluate and choose from amongst competing products, as the basis for successful marketing strategy to the increasingly important home and small business user. HCI is a very important because it will be a fundamental to make product more successful, safe, useful, and functional. So in the long run, it will make more pleasurable for the user. Hence, it's important to have someone with HCI focus skills involved in all phases of any product of a system development. HCI is also important to avoid product or project going wrong or totally fail. So HCI is extremely important when designing a clear intuitive system which be usable for people with a varied range of abilities and expertise and who have not completed any formal training. HCI takes advantage of our everyday knowledge of the world to make software and devices more understandable and usable for everyone. For example, using a graphic of a miniature folder in a computer interface helps the user understand the purpose of the folder, as everyone has experience with the real paper folder they everyday lives, diba? So relationship of the HCI to other discipline. HCI is a multidisciplinary field. So HCI draws expertise from numbers of different areas of studies. Okay, first we have prototyping and iterative development from a software. Okay, so a prototype is an early sample model or release of a product built to test a concept or process or to act as a thing to be applied or learned from. So it's a term used to a variety of contexts, including semantics, design, electronics, and software programming. So a prototype is designed to test and try a new design to enhance precision by a system analyst and a user. In prototyping, it allows members of the development team to, to confirm whether the product interface can be easily learned and used. So the goal for rapid prototyping include conducting iterative testing and revision in early product development cycle. So this approach allows user testing to be integral part of a product design. Next, we have software psychology and human factor of computing system. Okay, so HCI, or the Human-Computer Interaction study, is a region of intersection between psychology and the social science. On the other hand, the computer science and technology and the other HCI researchers analyze and design specific user interface technologies, for example, a pointing device. So they study and improve the process of the technology development. So they develop and evaluate new application of technology throughout the past 2 decades. So HCI has progressively integrated its scientific concern with the engineering goal of improving the usability of computer system and application, which has resulted in a body of technical knowledge and methodology. HCIs continue to provide a challenging test domain to applying developing psychological and social theory in the context of technology and development and use. Okay. Next, we have user interface of software from computer graphics. An important facet of HCI is the securing of user satisfaction, or simply end user computing satisfaction. Because human-computer interaction studies a human and machine communication, it draws from supporting knowledge on both the machine and the human side. So poorly designed human-machine interface can lead to many unexpected problems. Okay, HCI is very important because it will be the fundamental to make a product more successful, safe, useful, and functional. So last, the model theories and framework from cognitive science. Cognitive modeling is an area of computer science that deal with simulating human problem solving and mental processing in a computerized model. Such a model can be used to simulate or predict human behavior or performance on tasks similar to other ones models and improve human-computer interaction. Human-computer interaction is an emerging branch of supercomputer which concern with how people interact with all the process outwardly accessible information such as a World Wide Web. However, it adopts an information-centric approach rather than computer-centric approach to the field of human-computer interaction. Like HCI, it's an application field that provides complex text bed for theories of cognitive architecture. So it turns out theories provide the basis for cognitive engineering models that can yield prediction about the technology, and information design. Okay, so the topic in HCI, okay, so user what? Or social organization and work. We have the U2 or the user 2, the application areas, and the U3, which is the human machine fit adaptation. Okay, so computer exists with a larger social organization work milieu or the social organization work. So within this context, there are applications for which we wish to employ computer system, which is the application area. But the process of putting computer to work means that the human technical and work aspect of the application situation must be brought into fit with each other through human learning system, tailorability, or the other strategy, or the human machine fit and adaptation. In addition to the use of social context of computer on human side, we must also take into account the human information processing, H1, the communication and the physical, and the characteristic of the user. On the computer side, a variety of technology has been developed for supporting interaction with human. Input and output device connect the human and the machine. So this use in the number of techniques for organization dialogue. So these techniques are used in turns to implement larger design elements such as the metaphor of the interface. So getting deeper into the machine substrata supporting the dialogue may make extensive use of computer graphics techniques. Complex dialogues lead into a consideration of the system architecture and necessarily to support such feature as interconnectable application program with doing a real-time response, network communication, multi-user and cooperative interface, and multitasking of a dialogue objects. Finally, there is the process of development which incorporates design for human-computer dialogue techniques and tools, for implementing the techniques for evaluating them and the number of classic design for the study. So again, the question is, what is human-computer interaction? So the answer is HCI is the study and the practice of usability. HCI is the study of how people use computer system to perform a certain task. Okay, so this HCI is about the importance of human-computer interaction in the technology, which increased tremendously. So the goal of HCI is to improve the interaction between the user and the computer by making computer more user-friendly and receptive to the user needs. HCI is concerned with the methodologies and processes for designing interface and the methods of implementing interfaces, developing new interface and interaction techniques. A long-term goal of HCI is to design which minimize the barrier between the human cognitive models of what they want to accomplish and the computer understanding of the user task. Okay, so that's it for today and thank you.